Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. Today, I will be reading from the r/entitledpeople subreddit, so let's jump into it. Half-sister claimed she had no other dress to wear but her own wedding dress. I've been stewing on this story for a few years now and decided it was finally time to voice it out. This happened back in the beginning of 2017. The cast: John, my brother; Jane, my sister-in-law, John's wife; Susan, my half-sister. Back in 2016, my brother announced that he and his girlfriend of many years were engaged and were planning on having a wedding the following year. They gave 9 months notice, at least, to people who would be invited, and also told what the color theme for the wedding would be: purple. In that time between the announcement and the wedding date, I was easily able to order a dress from an online retailer in London, have it sent to me, and still had time to replace it if I needed. 2017 comes, and the wedding weekend has arrived. I live in a different state to my brother, as my mom and I moved from our hometown back in 2013, so we both had to travel across the ocean back to the mainland to attend the wedding. The wedding was absolutely gorgeous. Sunny day, on the beach. I couldn't help but cry because my work of a brother was actually marrying the mother of his children and the love of his life. He had never seemed happier. John and Jane had 3 kids together already, and the older 2 were flower girls, which was so sweet. Now, our family is sort of a web, so I will try to explain as best as I can. John is technically only my half-brother. We share a mom. My dad, prior to marrying my mom, had a first wife and had Susan. My dad's first wife, Susan's mother, was a complete narcissist. She had a nasty habit of abandoning my dad and the kids for days and weeks at a time without saying anything. On a random night, she actually packed all of her things and the kids' things before taking both sons and Susan, leaving my dad to wake the next day to the aftermath. My dad got split custody of Susan, so I'm sure Susan being partially raised by this woman contributed to how she behaves now. Long story short, Susan is only blood related to me, but since we all grew up together as siblings, John always treated her as a sister. He included her in the wedding and such as a family member and guest. Well, I hadn't noticed until later, as I was too caught up in the whirlwind of my brother's wedding ceremony. But Susan wasn't wearing purple. No, she was wearing white. To be specific, she was wearing her white wedding dress to someone else's wedding. John and Jane were rightfully pissed. Cue reception. Some people have changed clothes. It was my first ever wedding, so I didn't think that far ahead, and still wore my soft lilac dress without a problem, while everyone ate and shared some drinks, interacted with the bride and groom, what I assumed to be normal wedding things. But Susan, oh Susan, she was feeling extremely sad and lonely because no one was paying attention to her. The 30-plus-year-old woman who wore her wedding dress to someone else's wedding. I wonder why no one wanted to interact with her. Susan began crying, maybe halfway through the reception, openly, loudly, and in a way that clearly begged for someone to come notice her. I'm a nice person, so I tried to be the good half-sister I should be and bit the bullet to go sit with her for a little while. Ask her what's wrong. No one is talking to me. What do you mean? Everyone is talking with John and Jane, but no one is talking to me. And when I try to speak with them, they don't talk to me. I sighed internally and couldn't help but wonder how she didn't connect the dots. Susan, it's their wedding. Of course everyone is going to be talking to them, and they're going to be busy. I don't care. I'm the sister, so they should talk with me more. Actually, lady, you're not the sister. I am. But okay, whatever. I was able to slip away and spent time with some other family who weren't acting as if this day is all about them. After the ceremony, Jane admitted to me she was livid about how Susan wore the wedding dress. Susan had plenty of time to plan for the wedding and get appropriate attire, but when finally confronted, she said she had no other dress to wear and had to wear a wedding dress. This is perhaps a boring tale to most, but even 3, nearly 4 years later, I'm still pissed at my half-sister for doing that. My mom, John, and Jane are also pissed about it still. I've since cut contact with Susan. Her and I never had a good bond anyway, and as far as I could see it, we just shared a dad. Far as I know, John and Jane have limited contact with her, but that can't be helped as they live in the same city as her, while I now happily live in a place where an ocean is between me and her. Bruh, I would have done way more than just ignored Susan for the night. I would have just straight up kicked her out. And the fact that they didn't even talk to her about it afterwards, that's insane to me. I understand possibly not making a scene at the wedding as to not ruin the vibe further, but at least talk to her about it afterwards to explain how that is totally not okay. The more times people just keep letting these entitled people get away with doing this stuff, the more they're just going to do it again. People need to express their feelings more. There's no point in bottling it up or just talking behind Susan's back, because that is literally going to do nothing except enable her behavior. Good grief. Anyways, there's a little bonus story in the comments from another Reddit user, so let's read it, shall we? Reminds me of a work colleague who insisted on attending my partner's dad's funeral. She had maybe spoken to him a couple of times. Work had said only one of us could go, and as I was the boss, I had to let her go. Luckily, I found a replacement for me, a friend of my father-in-law, who thought it was more important I go to support my partner than them, so that we could both go. As when I'd asked her to stay at work, she said, "I'm not missing out," like it was a piss up. She then proceeded to bitch to anyone she could corner at the wake that I hadn't wanted her there. I couldn't have cared less. I just wanted to be with my partner. And she got so drunk, she was put to bed early. This was planned. She booked a hotel room so she could stay and drink. When I confronted her about her behavior, she just justified it by saying she was mad because no one had been giving her enough attention at the funeral. I'm sorry, what? That is almost more insane than the Susan story. Mad she wasn't getting attention at a funeral and basically treating the entire event like a birthday party? My god, where do these people come from? But anyways, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed that entitled people story with the little bonus story. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye! John and Jane have limited contact with